Hello and welcome to the Angela Ray Show. I hope that you all have had a great day. We are halfway through to the weekend. I don't know what that means for you, but I am going to take some much needed self-care time during this weekend because this week has been absolutely bananas. For those of you who will be joining the broadcast live, thank you all so much for hanging out. Make sure that you go ahead and slide in those comments and let me know who you were rooting for in the NBA Finals. If you follow basketball, if you are under a rock and you didn't know, the Milwaukee Bucks won it in Game 6 on last night, defeating the Phoenix Suns. And of course, it was the first time that the Bucks had won since the 1970s. And if you were like me, though, I was kind of pulling for the Phoenix Suns because I really wanted Chris Paul, who is a phenomenal player who does so much both on and off the court. I was hoping that he would have a chance and an opportunity to win a championship. So again, if you are watching us live tonight, go ahead and chime into the comments. Let me know, A, I was pulling for the Bucks. B, I was pulling for the Suns. C, what is a buck and what is a sun? Maybe you don't watch NBA basketball. For those of you who will be catching the show tonight on the replay, thank you all so much for your support. Well, you all know what we do every single week. We start the party off with our Ray of Motivation moment. And for tonight's Ray of Motivation moment, I'm going to give you something that may seem cliche, but when I share the story behind it, it'll all make sense. And that is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Yes, I know it sounds so cliche, but let me share with you a little story. Picture it. Selma, Alabama, 2017. A very young, rising film director had poured his heart and his soul into a project loosely based on true events. It was a story of a young lady who integrated a school in Marion, Alabama. For those of you who are not familiar with Marion, Marion is the home of the late Coretta Scott King. He had chosen so many historical locations for his film, being from Selma himself. Everything from the house that he shot in, even the church, and downtown Marion, where the late C.T. Vivian was stoned during the Civil Rights Movement. Fast forward to 2018, and all of the footage that he had shot the year before was gone. Could not be retrieved from the disc. It had been backed up. So he decided to send this footage and this disc off to so many different places. Every expert that he could find told him that it could not be recovered. So what did he do? He shot the entire film all over again. And on yesterday, the little film that could, through her eyes, premiered on Amazon Prime as well as iTunes. How do I know this story? I was actually a part of it. So again, if at first you don't succeed, make sure that you try again. And that is tonight's Ray of Motivation moment. Hey, Josette, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Well, tonight I have a very special treat. This is actually a first on the Angela Ray Show. We're going to have two guests on tonight. For our first guest is an actor. He's a producer as well as a writer. His name is Javon Johnson, and he's currently starring in Tyler Perry's hit show, The Oval, on BET. Some of his other acting credits include The Quad, as well as American Soul, Survivor's Remorse on the STARZ network, as well as Barber Shop 2. Our second guest is the curator of the Pacific Northwest Multicultural Reader Series and Film Festival. She is also a writer and a director, as well as a producer. So please help me welcome tonight on the Angela Ray Show, Javon Johnson. And Sean only has her first name, but Leasharn Hopkins. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Here I've got some issues again. I guess I'm freezing up again.
You know what? That's okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you go out and I'm gonna let you come back in, and then we're just gonna bring you right on back into the interview. We're just gonna keep it moving. Javon,
Hey,
you got your butt beat last night, didn't you?
no, I did not. Listen, first of all, we're not. That's not how we. That's what we're not gonna do. Is that right there? And Angela, I thought you was different. I didn't think you was gonna be like everybody else out there who just misunderstood the whole entire event last night. But let me
Okay,
explain to you something that people are not
break it
talking
down.
about. People are
Okay.
not talking about how much of a buster Sam really is, because he chose an opportunistic time to flex on Richard when he knew that Richard was still kind of recovering from a gunshot wound. Richard had this
Mm-hmm.
laboring bad back. He has, bad back, gunshot wound, and a broken heart. He ain't even mentally, emotionally in the place to even be in battle with this man. He
Okay.
chose that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
his best friend. So that means we were in service together. We known each other. So he knows when I'm at my best and he knows when I'm not. He knew
Okay.
that I was not at my best at that time, and he took the opportunity. And we need to talk about that because we need to see the full story and not just taking these angles and just jumping on the bandwagon and be like, Richard's got his butt kicked. We need to talk about the whole picture. You understand what I'm saying? So
Okay.
y'all get it right out there. I don't. That's not cool.
Okay.
That's
Welcome
not
back,
cool.
Sean.
Thank
I
you.
figured I would just go ahead and start off with last night's season premiere of Tyler Perry's The Oval on
Oh gosh.
TBN.
Woo!
Of course, yes. Did you see it last night?
I didn't get a chance. I've DVR'd it, but I
Okay.
know it's always got some drama going on that show. Drama.
Well, I'm not. I
Laugh.
won't give any spoilers. No spoilers. You were actually off the air while we were talking about it a little bit, so I won't share any spoilers. But Javon, I don't know if your version of the events are as accurate to all of us as they are to you, but we're gonna leave that
Well, you know
alone.
what? I'm just gonna say that you can teach a lot of people, but everybody's not willing to learn.
Oh, okay. Okay. And a mic
Oh,
drop on that. And a mic drop on that. So I know both of you individually, and I know that you two know each other. How did you two connect? Because of course, Javon, you are the ambassador for the upcoming Pacific Northwest Reader Series and Film Festival. Sean, you are the curator. But how did you all originally meet?
oh my God. Javon, I should make that be a quick, a trick question for you, like somebody who's dating somebody. But you ain't gonna remember. I met Javon in 2001 at the National Black Theater Festival.
Wow.
And I'll never forget my first, I would say, professional play was being read at the Reader Series. And I was so tired. And I was downstairs waiting for the poetry slam. And Javon, I heard he was from Anderson, South Carolina. In fact, Malcolm Jamal Warner was in your play. And I was talking to him. I said, oh, man, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to get a break into getting my plays produced. And he was the twins were just born too, Javon, because you told me your wife just had twins.
Right.
And what was so funny about it was you were in teaching mode, because I said, I want to sell my play. You said, do you really want to sell your play? And you were teaching me at that moment. And I never forgot that first lesson. And we kind of lost touch with each other. Now, I can't remember how we found touch, but we actually both live in South Carolina. And Javon, he's so modest and so humble. And I say it funny like, but I really mean it. He really is a great guy. He's an acting coach, and I coach actors and teach acting in Columbia. And he was telling me about his class, and I said, why don't you come to Columbia and teach for me? And I have some students that are actually advanced now. And I say, you are beyond me. I do the beginning and intermediate. I say, you need to really take his class. I say, he can take you to the next level. And we have been friends. We've been shooting stuff, running stuff by each other. In fact, I've been a producer on 2 of his films. You ain't told nobody that, did you, Javon? I mean, your line producer, and he'll run stuff by me, and I run stuff by him. We have a very mutual respect as colleagues, as artists, but we're also friends. At least I think we're friends, and I'm the only one to call him Javon, because I always say Javon. So that's how we met, 2001, that many years ago, and you don't even remember. Your twins were just born.
Yeah, yeah, they were just born. Yeah, you're right.
Now the
That was a
play
long
that
time
you
ago.
mentioned, was that you said it was Javon's play? Was that Low Down Dirty Shame? No, I mean A Crying Shame.
Yeah, that was a crime shame. Yeah, we
So
had
that was your play?
that was my
Uh-huh.
play. Yes.
And he
I
did it
didn't
again
know. I
too.
went to see that play.
You saw
And
that
I
in
saw
2001?
Crying Shame at the festival that year in 2001. Yes, I did. And interestingly enough, I remember it's funny. I actually mentioned a segment of that play in one of my books, and I
Oh,
talk about, you have to acknowledge things but then keep it moving. And so during one of the shows, I don't know how many shows you all had, but there was one show where Malcolm, I don't know, he was in the kitchen somewhere and the phone rang, and he goes to pick up the phone, and when he picks it up, the phone continues to ring. The sound person didn't cut off the sound effect. So the phone is still ringing. And
Yeah,
so the true professional that he is, he looks at the phone and then hello, like it was something wrong with it while it was still ringing, but the audience laughed, but they kept going. And that's one of those things as an actor, you can't ignore that, but you
yeah,
don't fall apart either. And so
right.
I talk about that in my book. So I did not know. Yeah, I remember that play. That was the first year of the Midnight Poetry Jam when it was
Yep,
downstairs
it was
in
the
the
first
bottom
year.
of the hotel. It was
yes.
Yep,
and
yeah.
it was packed and everybody was
Mhm.
coming through. And then of course, it got so big that they had to move it over to the Benton Convention Center. But yes, Javon,
Well,
I was
a lot of people don't know, and I'll say this here, is that Midnight Poetry Slam um, really was a impetus from myself and Mark Clayton Southers out of Pittsburgh, who presented that whole idea, and it blew up into something and took over and ran with it. But we
Wow.
had started that. We had started that at the Edward Albee Theater Conference in Valdez, Alaska, and
Wow.
brought that over to the festival. So it ran off and did its own thing. But you never know who's at the origin of things sometimes.
Yeah.
never
Interesting.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Interesting.
interesting. Hey, Rita Pardo, thanks so much for being on tonight. Wow, that's crazy. So I didn't meet you then, Javon. Probably walked past you a few times and all that good stuff. But
I
yeah.
don't think we
Angela, he had
actually
an entourage with him. He had an
had an
entourage
entourage.
with him. He always had his entourage.
I
Okay.
don't entourage.
When
I
I
don't
met
know.
you, you had an entourage. I was sitting down 3 o'clock in the morning on a couch, and how he does this silent stealth mode. He walked up, and I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, are you from South Carolina?" Yeah, I'm from South Carolina. I'm the only one I could tease him like that. He's like, "Sean, you're just so crazy."
Oh my gosh.
But we go
Hey,
way, way back. What?
Angela, you know, I guess we didn't officially meet until you was my wife and Boo.
A Medea Halloween.
Oh
Yeah,
Lord, y'all were
yeah,
actually
the
married in
deal.
Boo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So I guess so. Yeah.
it's a small world. That's how we all. And I met Angela. Was it 2001? I met you, Angela, or 2003?
I don't remember which year. Whatever year that you met Renee, which I had known Renee for years, even before.
2001.
So it was the same year I met you. I met you that same year at the festival. Because I
Yeah,
had been going since 95. That was my first festival was in 95. That was actually my first professional credit. I was actually in a play in 95 at the festival. And I was in a play again in 97. And then after that, I was like, I want to take some time and actually, attend, because when you're in a play, you're in rehearsals, you're missing shows, you're missing so many things. And I was like, oh, I want to see everything. And I'm stuck in rehearsals when I'm here and yeah. So after that, I just decided I wanted to just attend as a spectator and just take it all in.
the beauty of that festival was we met each other, but it launched our careers in a sense. If you think about it, we network at these festivals and our careers get launched and we start going on different paths where our paths always come back together. That's a beautiful thing about the festival. And I love the festival. I was disappointed it was postponed because of COVID this year, but I understand. But we're going to be back in 2022. That's what they said. We're going to do big things in 2022. And Javon, now he's risen in the echelon. He's teaching at the festival. I want people to gain his knowledge. He's an excellent acting coach. That's one thing. I've sat in his class. He's actually pulled me to participate in his class, and you really learn a lot. And I know, Angela, you teach acting classes as well. It's kind of funny. We're all different instructors, but we love the art. And that's the thing that I like about being with creative people. Y'all, you feed off of each other. We learn things and I grow. Even in the corner of South Carolina where nobody was saying, South Carolina has no talent. We have a lot of talent.
Right.
Absolutely. Southeast. Full of talent. You got a fan on tonight, Javon.
I like that. Oh, Mr. Javon.
What was the comment? I didn't see a comment.
Oh my goodness. That's not how she said. That's how I said, oh my goodness. I had to do my one. Oh my goodness. I remember Mr. Javon in Tyler Perry movies, #starstruck.
Okay.
Yeah. Another fan of Javon. He's good.
We have some haters on this interview.
But about the National Black Theater Festival, how we had these connections, all three of us there. But there is another festival that is coming up next month, of which Javon is the ambassador, and Sean, you are the curator. Talk to us a little bit about that.
The Pacific Northwest Multicultural Reader Series and Film Festival is the brainchild of Jerry Foster. Jerry Foster, he is the executive director of this festival, but he also works with Passing Art, a theater company based in Portland, Oregon. And, he attended the National Black Theater Festival, and that's where I met Jerry. And Jerry actually produced one of my plays for Passing Art in 2003. And the beautiful thing about it, he kept talking about reading new works in Portland, Oregon, because Portland, Oregon, African Americans are the minority, but they have a beautiful and wonderful artistic pool in there with African Americans, Latinx, Asian Americans, and indigenous artists. And when we kept talking, he said, Sean, I've seen how you run things and do things with the reader series at the National, working under Garland. He says, how would you like to partner with me to do the same thing in Portland, Oregon? And we talked for some years, and I love his theater company. They're the longest running, producing, award-winning African-American theater company in Portland. So they're hosting this festival. So taking his idea, and we married it together, and he asked me to be the curator. And it's more than just a reader series. We have panel discussions, webinars, and we actually add a film festival component. And what the beauty of this festival is of course, it's in the Pacific Northwest. In person, it's going to be in Portland, Oregon. However, the beautiful thing about this festival is we're providing a platform for not only African-American artists, but Asian Americans, Latinx, as well as indigenous artists to have their stories told their way using their voice, which is sometimes a very difficult thing that we talk about this for all night long, about people of color, artists of color, trying to get their work out there. And this is the first platform that we want to do, and we wanted to do in Pacific Northwest. And in fact, I had a meeting last night with some of the moderators, and this is really a strange one, because usually you have either the film or you have the readings, but you putting them together makes it totally different. And of course, with COVID, the whole festival is going to be completely virtual. And everybody's used to the platform of a film festival being virtual. But now you've got a reader series, and we have 6 panel discussions. We have a conversation with Javon so people can gain knowledge from him. And we got 3 webinars, and we got 17 plays that's going to be read. So we're going to have some live, but we're going to have a platform where you can stream after the live is over with. And we also going to have something similar to what you have, Angela, with this show, where they have an opportunity to literally interact with the panelists. We're talking about color and colorism in casting, color and colorism in stage and film industry. That's one of those, the 2 big relevant issues. In the Heights started. Everybody started talking about the lack of Afro-Latinos in that film. Then we got, people talking about what's going on with casting. Daniel Kaluuya playing a historic figure, and Black Judah and Black Messiah and the Judah. And then we got one with Harriet. Somebody else was playing with Harriet. And these are people coming from the UK. So these are going to give an opportunity for our festival attendees to have this conversation.
Awesome. And so now, Javon, I know there's going to be a special conversation with you. You
Mhm.
are the ambassador, but you also have a short film that's going to be screened as a part of the festival as well, correct?
Yeah, it's a short film that actually Sean was line producer on. I know she was
Got your back.
So
speaking
y'all
of
just
that.
keep it all in the family. That's what y'all do. Y'all just
Yeah,
keep it
yeah,
all in
yeah.
the
Keep it
family.
all in
Okay.
the family. Yeah, yeah. It's a short film called After the Rose. It's a dramatic piece that I'm also acting in, performing in that piece as well. So it's a very strong dramatic piece with a really dynamic story and a different angle one dealing with domestic abuse.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. And how long ago did you all shoot that?
Oh gosh,
Oh my gosh, I don't.
Ron.
When was that? You know, when you
That was
work
in
when you
2017, 18?
yeah
2017,
maybe
18?
yeah. I try to stay busy
Yeah.
enough to forget
I
when I've worked on projects.
I think
oh, he's so
that uh-oh.
No, she's having some
he's written some okay.
connection issue.
No, he's written some very
We
wonderful
got
shorts. Um, yeah, and I'm a fan of some of those, and I'm like, Javon, especially one called America the Beautiful. And I'm like, oh, Javon, this has got to be made. He's been busy. He's just modest. He's been busy with his class. He started conservatory in South Carolina. He's just shot a film last year. I think it was last year, The Legend.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was line producer on that one. And I'm just really excited that Javon, didn't count it robbery to be a part of our inaugural festival either. I really like that he agreed to that. And I think that, people think you have to be um, somebody like Denzel. Javon has the same pedigree and experience, and he's a working actor, and he gives back to the community. And, I think he's a good person to promote our first festival and our brand, which the theme is our voice, our story, our way. And, for us to have that, I just really want to have somebody that can be, I guess, the poster for that for us. And, Javon, over the years, I mean, you started in theater that's the first time I met you. You do television, you do film. I think it's a natural fit to have him as our ambassador. And I can't wait for them to have the conversation with him so he can share his knowledge. And please, for your viewers, please check out our festival. The festival starts August 20th. That's on a Friday, and it runs through August 22nd. Sunday is a Friday through Sunday. It's a 3-day festival. However, all festival attendees who register and buy passes, they can view everything up until Monday, August the 23rd, and at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They can view everything up. If they miss it, you can't catch it during those 3 days. You have one day to try to catch everything. It's a wonderful schedule, very diverse panel, diversity in the readings, diversity in the films. So please check us out.
Now, Rita Pardo, who was teasing Javon earlier, said that she's always wanted to be an actress. And because I know Rita, and I've actually had Rita on the show, let me tell you, she a natural. She probably is an actress already,
Uh,
and doesn't even know it yet. No, nobody's
uh,
paid her to do it yet, but she is an actress. Oh, Sean, can you repeat the information on the festival? Rita said that
Okay.
Sharon in here fighting and got her all distracted. Not
All right, the festival is called the Pacific Northwest Multicultural Reader Series and Film Festival, and I shorten it. It's the PNMC Festival. Is August 20th through the 22nd, and it's completely virtual. So if you can't get out the house or we go back into lockdown, you can view the festival and be a part of it. You can be on your tablet, phone, computer, and you can comment on the we're going to actually have talk backs with some of the playwrights. We're going to have talk backs on the panels. And we're actually having 3 webinars. One is dealing with self-producing versus have pitching it to have it produced. One is dealing with Playwright 101, and one is a basic acting class. So we have 3 different things that will fit anyone's needs for the webinars.
Okay. So now you all have connected on films. You know, you've been producing, Javon's been writing in front of the camera. When y'all gonna tag little sister in? I'm just saying though. When we gonna tag little sister? Trying to get
Now you was in my reading for Felicity. Now Javon wrote read for Felicity. He loves it.
Okay.
Javon to shop Felicity, my TV pilot. In fact, I pitched to Effie, a friend of his. Mm-hmm. And I actually almost won the community pitch. And Effie said it was so brilliant. She thought I was talking about her. Because Effie came to Columbia, her and Andre Roya and Avro, I think it's Avro Speaks. They came and they had a competition for pitching. So I need for him to get on board too. And Angela was in that reading. And he saw it too, Angela.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's acting all shy.
You're already in the pocket.
Oh, okay. Y'all, Rita said, yes, hunty, glad it's virtual because I'm too sexy to be in these Corona streets. I know that's
We're out of control.
I got to meet this Rita. I have to meet this Rita.
Let me tell you all about Miss Rita. Miss Rita has an amazing story. She has her own business, an all natural personal care line of products, everything from all natural deodorants to body sprays to shea butter. But she also has things for the house as well, all natural. She started because she created something for one of her daughters and, you know, went out there, did some research because everything that the doctors were prescribing wasn't working out. So she got on there on the internet, did some research, and Pardo Naturals was born. So she is a very talented and busy person. But she funny though, as you can tell. She funny though.
She wants to act, Javon. She wants to take your acting class.
Well, let me say to Miss Rita, if you can take that type of initiative and commitment for your daughter and coming up with something for her, then you can take that same type of commitment to yourself and get to this acting thing. So stop playing with it.
That sounds like a challenge.
He's in coaching mode now. He's in coaching mode.
Sounds like a challenge. Like back in the day when you say, cross this line. You crossing this line? You gonna cross this line? Come on then. So sounds like a little bit of a challenge.
Come on, we'll be here.
So back to what we were talking about just a little bit at the very beginning, Javon, I definitely don't want any spoilers for what's coming in the future, but you all have had an amazing first season of The Oval. Tell us just a little bit about what it has been like to be a part of that show, because I'm sure the people want to know.
It's been like what you see every week. It's a lot of drama, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of the, what's going to happen next. As actors, if anybody has worked on a Tyler Perry series and worked with him in this way, it's very not conventional in terms of how we are accustomed to working as actors. We don't get the luxury of having the rehearsals and the time and all the takes and things like that. It is a freight train and it's moving fast, and we got to stay on board or fall off, and that's kind of how the show moves. You know what I mean? So we'll shoot an entire season in 2 weeks. So when we get scripts, we get in a stack of scripts like at one time. So we got to navigate 22 episodes in one shooting schedule, which is a lot. So we're running wild like the characters are when you watch them every Tuesday night. That's how we feel when we're shooting it.
And so for those who may be watching, of course, sometimes people always want to put the cart before the horse. Okay, I want to star in a Tyler Perry show, having never, been on a set, having never, they don't know what going back to one is, first team, second team, all of that. Yeah. If someone is watching though, and let's say maybe they've done a couple of plays somewhere along the line, high school, church play, college, what is one piece of advice that you would give them, Javon? And then I'll also pivot that to you, Sean, as well, because you're also a director.
This is the biggest advice I give you is patience and preparation before opportunity, right? Because what happens is we go for the opportunity first, because this is an industry where it's all about the limelight. It's all about the opportunities. It's all about getting the book. You know, every actor's going to talk about booking. They're all going to talk about an agent. Like, these are all the sexy words, right? But these are not necessarily. These are also the words that get you in a lot of trouble, right? When you put your focus ahead of your where you are. What are you bringing to the table? Are you really prepared? And there's been plenty of situations where I've been on set and there's been an actor on set, and then the next day they're not there no more, right? Because they got the job, they auditioned, they got booked, but you have to deliver once you're on set. There's a job you have to actually do. So if you're not trained to do the job beyond the booking, then in essence that means you're really not ready. So you have to know where you are. You have to be honest with yourself about where you are. If you, you know, there's some exceptions to this, because this industry is mentally ill. It's not sane. The industry is not sane, so it's not fair. So we got to realize we're dealing with a crazy industry. So with that, there are some people who are just generally special. They got something that's undeniable. Some people can ride a career out because they have a great personality, a magnetism, and something about them that's just irresistible, and they ride that out. Some people just have a look that's undeniable, and they ride that out. But the majority of us have to work. The majority of us are not the lottery ticket. You know, everybody plays the lottery, but it's only a few here and there that actually hit. But those other people are putting those dollars in every day, you know, hoping they win. So the bulk of us are in the percentile where we really have to work and really have to come to the table with some substance, with some craft, with some training, with some knowledge, with some preparation. And I think that's the hardest thing to do, because this industry doesn't promote that. It promotes the end game, which is being in film and getting, and everybody, you go on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you see booked it, and you look at yourself like, I should be booking too. Well, yeah, that can happen, but then you can also book yourself back 2 years behind schedule because you booked it, and then your first impression was you don't know what you're doing. So now I can't forgive you, and it takes a while for people to forgive you. Once you present yourself a certain way, it takes a while for them to forgive you and see you in a new light. So that's the biggest advice I can give you is patience and preparation before opportunity. And I know that's hard, because we're trying to make it out there, and opportunities seem like they only come once in a lifetime. But that's a false precept anyway. Don't think that because you get this audition, there's not another one coming. The industry has been here. All these roles are still being written every day. Like, there's constant shows are coming and going all the time. You will get another shot. So don't like, if I don't book this, my life will never go anywhere. You know, you got to get out of that headspace too. So yeah.
And then before you impart your words of wisdom, Sean, I want to piggyback on something that Javon mentioned, and that is, you know, especially for those people who watch, you're connected with other people in the industry on social media, and you see the whole booked it. Sometimes you have to ask, what did you book? I mean, no shame in any work, but I think oftentimes people will, social media is not always reality. It's sometimes a facade. And, you know, sometimes that booked it might not even be as high as a student film, let alone an independent or a feature. You know, I have just put it this way. I remember about 5 years ago, I was casting a project, and there was a young lady that I thought she was pretty good for it. And so I sent her the script. She auditioned for it, and there was just some information she didn't have that I did. And I talked to the director, because the director was like, no. I mean, the producer was like, no. And I said, well, I think if I give her this information, she can maybe adjust. So I gave her some more information to allow her to reshoot. And so she reshot it, and it still wasn't a match, you know, just wasn't a match. But on her social media, she had clips from both auditions of what she didn't book. Hey, wait, it gets better. And the caption was like, auditions just spilling over. And I was like, really? That's the audition. And I gave it to you. Like, and so that was actually, you know, for me, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, here's the thing I'll say about that. You have to learn how to have purpose vision, right? Vision for yourself and your purpose, right? And that vision has to be a tunnel vision, right? You can't look left and right. You can't look at the social media, because that's all projection of something that's real or not real, right? So, but that can get into your psyche, and that could eat at your confidence. It can eat at you. So what happens is, if I say to you, you know what, you need to train for a year. Don't go out, get an agent, don't do anything. Just focus on training for a year. And you start training, you get 6 months into it, and you're on social media, and you're like, everybody else is working, everybody else is booking. Why am I putting in all this hard work And this person who booked this job just woke up and they haven't done any training, and like they're working, and you get caught up in that kind of perception of things, and then you start to doubt yourself and you start to pull back on your commitment to your own growth. And that's why you don't want to get into the psychological chaos of following what people are presenting to you on social media, because it's not all the time, it's not always real. And you don't want to feed your mind stuff that feeds you doubt and tear at you. So, but the thing is, if you know your purpose, and if you stay, your vision is locked in on where you're trying to get to, then it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It doesn't matter how much somebody booked anything. It only matters about, am I taking steps forward to get to my goal, and I'm on my journey and my path. So I would give that advice as well.
Sean, what's your take on this?
Well, my thing is, you know, like I've had students as young as 4 up until I would say 94. And one thing when I'm dealing with children, with parents, when they want their child, they says, my child is so dramatic. They want to act. They're an actor. And before I even start my first class with a child, I'll interview the parent and the child together. Then I will say, well, let me interview the child by themselves. Because a lot of times the children don't want to do it. I had one child that I would come over and actually coach him in his home. And every time I showed up, he said, I hate you, because his parent took him from playing with his brothers. Another thing is when I work with children, because I do children and adults, is, you know, your dream you may see your child as the next big actor, but a lot of times that child just have a lot of energy. They're rambunctious. They're not ready for the business. And even if you have a child that you think is good, and we do have some that are very special and exceptional, I've worked with them. Are you ready to have that child stop being a child and to grow up so fast? The business is very cutthroat. The business is very competitive. You hear about these child stars when they grow up, what happened to them. On the flip side, when I deal with adults, when I have my first beginning acting class, I ask everybody this one question: why do you want to be an actor? And you'd be surprised at the answers to that question. And I say, I'm gonna tell you something. If you say you want to be an actor because you want to be famous, you want an Oscar, you want an Emmy, you want a Golden Globe, you don't need to be in this class, and you don't need to be an actor. Because only a very, very, very small percentage is in that upper echelon. What you should be, if you still want to be an actor, is you need to strive to study your craft, and I call it a craft. Not only study your craft, you're always taking classes. I've had one of my students who was cast in an episodic, and it was a full season. And she takes her craft very seriously. She said, I need an acting coach. So I was like, okay, I'm available to you if ever you need me to. And she got all of her scripts, like Javon said, you get a stack of scripts. She says, Sean, can you help me look over these scripts? I just want to make sure. And we ran lines, we coach. And, my thing is, as an acting coach, and like you said, I'm a director, I want to give you the tools so that if I'm not available, you still can. If you book that job, like Javon said, you can still function. You can still perform the way you're supposed to. Just like if you nail that audition, you should be able to nail those performances every week, or just for that one big moment when you're doing a film. So my big proponent is you need to study your craft. If you're always growing and evolving as an artist, I don't want to just say an actor, because actors sometimes actually become directors. I started out acting, then I became a director. My first love is writing. Because of where I am in South Carolina, and especially in Columbia, things are kind of close niche and cliquish. I had to produce my own work. And, like I told people, if you don't let me through your door, I'm gonna cut me a door. And Angela, for yourself, and Javon, you can attest, it's very hard to have an African-American or even a female of color that's a director or producer in this business. There's not many of us. So I have to take my craft very seriously. I'm always learning, I'm always respectful, and I'm always professional. Yeah, I might cut up, but I'm professional. I teach, and I would encourage anybody who wants to get into this business of acting or writing. First of all, you need to study. Even Denzel has an acting coach. Everybody, even Angela Bassett, everybody has an acting coach because you have never arrived. Take your craft serious. And remember, only a few small, I would say maybe what, 1%, Javon, or 2%? Make it to an Angela, a Denzel, a Halle. And even when you're up there, you're always, as an artist, an actor of color, you're always trying to stay relevant. I have, known actors who seem to be in the upper echelon actually trying to vie for roles that somebody who is not in the upper echelon, because they got to work. They want to be a working actor. I applaud Javon. Javon is a working actor. That's what you should be looking for, not to say, I want an Emmy, I want a Golden Globe, I want an Oscar. Do good work. It will get noticed. And that's why I changed my title from being a writer to being, I want to be a content creator. I want to create good content. And that's what my mindset is. And that's my advice to everybody.
Study the craft. Well, Javon, this young lady in Fayetteville, North Carolina, that I affectionately call Mom, says, tell Javon to stop being mean to his wife on the Oval. She a good woman.
That's not like my mom. My mom is like that.
I got a question. Can you ask your mom why she think Nancy a good woman? Because
well, you know what? I the last part of that was LOL. So she probably was joking.
Okay, all right. Because y'all about to get me right.
She did say LOL. So
between Sam and Nancy, man, y'all, boy.
Listen, I was wondering who the daddy was going to be. In a million years, I would never have guessed. Like, I was like, okay, is it? Because I kept thinking it has to be somebody we've seen, which one? But yeah, when that one came out, I said, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Now, Angela, I'm be like Miss Rita.
That's that good woman.
Why you have me cast as your wife on the Oval?
Why cast what?
Why you had me cast as your wife on the Oval?
If you was cast as my wife on the Oval, then I would have 2 wives on this interview right now.
Oh.
And that would not mix well. We would have issues.
I like that.
My mama came back and said Nancy is a good woman, so she won't just joke. She said Nancy is a good woman.
Well, she might be a good woman today, but she wasn't a good woman then.
Oh, no, she sure wasn't.
No, she better not come back saying that.
Yeah, I just was not, like I said, not in a million years was I expecting. That was one of those, like, really.
That's a hard blow. That's a hard blow right there.
Beyond. I have scrolling at the bottom of the screen the Facebook page for the Pacific Northwest Reader Series and Film Festival, which is coming up August 20th through the 22nd. And while it is headquartered in Portland, Oregon, because of the Rona, as somebody mentioned it to me the other day. I was like, we still calling it the Rona? Okay. It will be completely virtual this year. So you can get ticket information so that you can attend as much of the festival as you can, the reading of the plays, the conversation. Is we're about to jump off. We've been on a little bit longer than I even thought we were going to be, but this is what happens when you get friends together. They just start talking. But there's going to be an even longer, more in-depth conversation with Javon during the festival, as well as a screening of one of his films, in addition to other short films and the reading of plays from all over the country. And I don't know, maybe even all over the world. Sean, I know that you've read. And
this one time I am not the reader.
Oh, you haven't read the plays?
I have not. August Bullock, he's with the DC Black Theater Festival. He's done a wonderful job organizing the Reader Series Committee. So I haven't read them. I'll read the National next year. But August Bullock has done an excellent job. Catherine Mobley, she's the one who's organized all the film submissions. And we have a wonderful marketing PR person, Kathy Kendricks. And like I said, Jerry Foster, he's the executive director for the festival. We had Andre Minkins as well as Daryl Wormley. They were on the panel, helping with the panels, pull it together. It was a team effort. Nobody can do a festival by themselves. This is my first full festival. I mean, I did just a portion of the reader series at the National, but pulling a festival together is a lot of hard work. And I believe, and I sent you the schedule, it's going to pay off because we offer so much to everyone. And please, the festival starts August 20th next month through the 22nd. Please, the passes are on sale. You can get passes for the reader series only or the film festival only. Or I would tell you the best bargain is the entire festival, because that way you get the webinars, you get the panel discussions, you get the films, and you get the reader series. And you can go to pnmc.eventive.org to buy your passes. And we are actually loading the schedule that you have. We're loading there so people will know. And we're actually starting to put places for the films and other things that we have. So we have some wonderful things. We even have a virtual network mixer.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. So you put on your cute little summer outfit. I'm going to have some better lighting, and you have your glass of wine, and we're going to have music. I mean, we're going to try to do it just like you were in person. The only thing is you can have a cute top on unless you got a full length thing. You can have your pajamas and your fur slippers on, and you can have your glass of wine and just sip.
Just sip. All right, real quick, I want to get through a few more of these comments. Last comment for you, Javon, from my mama. She said, "Leave Nancy alone," but she said, "Love you, Javon. Love you, Javon." So,
we love you too, Mom. Even though you root for the wrong team, I understand.
Thank you so much, Josette. Josette says thank you to both of you all for sharing tonight. Josette and I go back to Hinton James dorm at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, room 219. How do I still remember that? I do not know. I have no idea. Leslie C. Youngblood says that she enjoyed both of the guests. Leslie is a writer. She just had a book that dropped on last week.
Congratulations.
Yes, with Little Brown. So it's Forever This Summer. And it is a middle grade. It's a middle grade novel. So yes, definitely proud of her. Last question of the night, real quick. Jay Wilson, thanks so much for being on. I thought that was a question for you, but maybe it was. Oh, there was a question a little bit earlier from Jay, and that question is, Sean, what has been your favorite work in terms of writing?
My favorite, meaning mine or someone else? My favorite playwright is Lorraine Hansberry. I love her. I believe she captured the essence of what was going on during her time. And when I first started as a writer, I wanted to do the same thing for my time. I wanted to capture the essence of what's going on. I used to write very deep stuff, but now I've started lightening up and writing lighthearted stuff. So she's my favorite. I love her works, even though she's got a one-woman production that you don't see done a lot, but everybody knows Raising the Sun. And I had the opportunity to actually portray Ruth in 2002. And it was really, really very surreal, playing something that another person I admire is Ruby Dee. And in fact, doing that performance opening night, someone who actually was at the original production on Broadway when Miss D and all the other ones were part of that production, the original production. The stage manager got someone to come over, bringing me over to him, and he said, I have seen people do this play, and I've never seen someone come close to portraying Ruth as Miss D did than you doing the play, the part.
Oh, wow.
And definitely. The person who brought me over, she said he'd never complimented anyone. And I have a love between writing. I love writing, but I love stage. I love films. I love stage. I love theater. Theater is my heart. And it's just something about it. And I share this with you. I saw, and I'm really going to age myself. I saw Ntozake Shange's For Colored Girls on PBS back in the 70s, where they dramatized it. And I saw it. I was like, wow, I want to do that. I want to write stuff like that. I want to act like that. And I was in elementary school, and that was my first time of being bitten with the artistic bug. So there's many, many good works. And to answer Jay's question, Lorraine Hansberry is my favorite, but being a script reader, I'm starting to love original new works more because they really have the pulse on what's going on.
And actually, Jay just clarified, he was actually wanting to know what your favorite work is of yours.
Oh gosh. Oh Lord. Comedic is The Honeymoon Over. In regards to dramatic, To Touch God's Hands. And that dealt with HIV/AIDS and the stigma associated with the disease from the viewpoint of friends and family, and actually a lover. Yeah, it was. Yeah, right. It actually toured. It was sponsored by the Ford Foundation, and it toured 70 city tour. And in fact, Passing Art did it. We performed it in New York, and I haven't even performed it since 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jay, I also have I have 4 plays that's associated with HIV/AIDS. So yeah, so I'm lightening up as I get older. I'm lightening up, writing hard stuff.
Well, Sean and Javon, that's amazing how that rhymes. Thank you all.
Javon, we're rhyming.
I appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedules to be. And I know that both of you are busy. We were, this coming together, getting this together for tonight. Again, the festival is coming up August 20th through the 22nd. The Facebook page is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to connect.
And we will have the link for events on that as well. So y'all, they can get passes, check out the schedule on the Facebook page as well. We'll post that soon, so they'll know.
Awesome. Well, you two enjoy the rest of your evening. Javon, I'll make sure that I get some steak for you, that knockout you got on last night.
You know what? We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Just go ahead and close this thing out. We're not going to do that. Go ahead and close it out. You know,
go just close it out. Don't go back there.
You're a lot like your mama. I'm just gonna say that. Right now, your mama, like she actually a bit of a bad influence on you, because I think you would think a little differently if your mom didn't impose her judgment on Richard, and her champion of this flawed woman Nancy, and not really dealing with Nancy's issues and shortcomings. I think you'd be better for it if your mom didn't push that on you like when you was younger.
Angela, meet the real Javon. Angela, meet the real Javon. Y'all have to Javon. This is the real Javon right now.
I see. Oh my goodness.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Thank you, Angela, for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you from Jerry Foster, Kathy Kendricks, Connie, and all the PNMC festival staff. We appreciate the opportunity for you giving us this shout out to have us promote our festival. Thank you so much. And you guys, I'm gonna put my last dig in. Please go to pnmc.eventive.org or to our Facebook page and check out our festival. We're posting the schedule. And look, if you're interested, please buy a pass. You got 3 options: reader series only, films only, but the best value is the full festival only.
Yeah, it's always good when you bundle, not to be confused with bundles that you get for your hair, but it's always good when you bundle everything up. Yeah, Leslie said shade. That was shade that Javon was throwing. Just throwing a little shade.
What is up with your demographic for this show, man? It seems like you guys are judgmental viewers, man. I need y'all to think a little broader, man. See that?
He will throw shade, and you don't know shade has been thrown at you, girl.
Hey, listen, they're only as good as their leaders. So, Angela.
You know what?
Yeah.
What a great evening. Thank you all
Yes.
so much for being here. I'm not sure. I'm sure I will get a chance to check out part of the festival. There's a lot going on that particular weekend. And I hate that when it happens, when there's, like everything is happening in one weekend. I think there is Team Javon. Rita said
Lord.
hashtag
What,
Team
Javon, she
Javon.
done drunk the Kool-Aid. She done
what
drunk the
happened?
Kool-Aid.
What
Oh,
happened?
Lord.
I
Rita
got some
said
people.
hashtag Team Javon.
That's
Oh,
what.
Lord. But she got an LOL at the end. She got an LOL
See,
at the end.
see. That's what I'm talking about. That right there. Let it live. Leasharn, don't kill it. Let it live.
We're not keeping hope alive. I'm killing a dream right now.
Hey, let me just say, when you think about it, when you look at artists of color across this country and what we have available to us when it comes about giving us opportunities to develop and nurture our own voices, we don't have a lot of room and space, right? We don't have a lot of people facilitating that. So you look at the National Black Theater Festival, which has been around for decades, that's kind of locked in as a historical event for us. But how many National Black Theater Festivals we have available
Oh,
that function in that way? So this might be the birth of something now on the West Coast that can open up another world for us. So it's really important that you guys step in and support and invest not only in the festival, but in yourself, and give yourself the opportunity to broaden your network and go someplace where somebody actually is paying attention to what you have to say and empowering you with that and honoring your cultural experience and perspective. Like, we just don't have it. It's not in abundance for us. And so you don't want to take opportunities like this for granted. So I just wanted to say that because this could be the birth of something really big for all of us. And we want to see more festivals like this sprout up eventually, so that we have more opportunities. Because it's no secret that the black artists of color, we're struggling. We're struggling to speak. We're struggling to be heard. We're struggling for opportunities. And so festivals and organizations like this, conferences and things like this are means for rectifying some of those shortcomings we have in terms of getting ourselves these opportunities. So I just wanted to say that.
thank you.
Just,
And that's the purpose for this festival, so we can have that, because I just named off 4 or 5. And really, there's virtually 6 that I know of. And they're all on the East Coast, except for the one in Texas. And, there was an article years ago about the demise of Black theater, how it was flourishing in the 70s, and the steady decline of that. When you have an opportunity for somebody to look at your new work and say, I'm going to give you a platform to have it read, you never know who. That's what happened with me when I did my first reading at 2001. You never know who will see that. When I came back, an organization did the reading, a stage reading. There's over 700 people. It was picked up by Passing Art. The Ford Foundation funded it twice for an evaluator to evaluate the play because of the significance. We went to New York, and then we had a 7-city tour. You never know who will see you or see your work if you come there. Even with your films, same thing. You never know who may say, okay, it's a short, but I want to pay for you to develop it into a feature. You never know.
So true. Javon, we're not going to revisit this because of the tone that we're in, but I will
we're
say this.
already revisiting right now. You already opened the door. Go ahead.
Here is the comment. Okay, shade forgiven. You said that, Javon. So,
okay. You bounce back. Yeah. Hey man, all y'all gotta do is just hang in there. It comes full circle. Just hang in there with me. Yeah, we'll come back around.
Okay.
We'll come back around.
They're drinking the Javon Kool-Aid. That's what's happening.
I see.
Hey, it was a nasty Kool-Aid. I just changed the flavor. That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you again to both of you for taking time out of your busy schedules. I appreciate it. And I look forward to connecting with both of you, both collectively and individually soon.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you, Angela. Absolutely. Javon, we'll be talking soon.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Have a good night. All right, that's it for tonight's Angela Ray Show. We went a little bit long tonight, but thank you all for tuning in and sticking in with us. As always, I would like to remind you of Ray of Motivation number 54. Cleaning a mirror does not change the person who is reflected in it. Until next time, I encourage you all to go out and be the change. Have a great evening.